Suppressors are the rage these days. And my friend John Long has joined us. Now, John, you've been collecting this probably as long as anybody I know. You got some old guns here and a whole bunch of different suppressors or silencers. I guess Hiram Maxim actually called them silencers, didn't he?
Yep, he sure did. That was his term, so I think that's what we should use myself.
A suppressor or a silencer is actually what? What's going on inside of this thing?
What you have is a set of baffles, washers with kind of turned in bell-shaped curves and lined up so that when the bullet passes through, it passes uninterrupted, allowing to make sure accuracy to the target.
So there's a hole all, I mean, you can look through it, you can see a hole right through the middle. That's
Absolutely.
Where the bullet's going. So to get a really quiet gun, you need to be shooting a round that's slower than the speed of sound or less than 1,100 feet per second.
Exactly.
All right, talk me through what you have here.
This is a reproduction of a World War II British Delisle.
Okay.
It's a .303 British rifle that's been converted into 45 ACP.
And bolt action, which means it can be really quiet because it's a fixed breech, whereas a semi-auto, the breech is opening, the bolt comes back, and some of that gas is going to escape there.
You're going to get some noise from the breech.
This has got to be real quiet.
It is.
This one is a Mac 10?
That's a Mac 10, 45 ACP.
Basically Vietnam War era. Obviously, these different suppressors will screw onto various barrels.
Correct.
And you have screw mounts in here. You basically have a threaded barrel, and you just screw this onto the end of the barrel.
That's all you do.
You can also go with an integral suppressor, right?
Made into the gun. It looks like a bull barrel.
But it is a silencer in here.
The whole thing is essentially the same principle as this one, only scaled down to 22 instead of 45 ACP.
Okay. Now, what's this classic-looking thing?
That is a World War II German P38,
right,
with a barrel that has been threaded, especially for a correct fitting suppressor.
Very sweet. It's the kind of stuff you see in movies, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And then the Ruger 1022.
All you hear out of this one here is the clack with the bolt going.
Right.
And if you're downrange, you hear a zzz as the bullet goes by.
Give me the short version of what's required to own one of these on the federal system.
On the federal system, all you have to do is you have to, number one, have the money.
$200.
That's $200 for the transfer tax plus the price of the gun from a dealer. As long as you pay the tax to the federal government, and as long as you're cleared by the federal government's investigation, which is going to be an FBI background check, as long as all that's cleared, these are all legal. These are legal to own in almost 38 states.
Okay. Back at Sig Sauer, we looked at their new line of suppressors. It just might be that the most fun thing you can do with all this NFA gear we're talking about is have a silencer or a suppressor. Tim Arnold's with us to show us some of the things that you guys have been doing. You got a whole new line of silencers. And let's talk for just a second about what makes a silencer. Obviously, it's interesting for Hollywood, it's interesting for military and law enforcement, but for the rest of us, why would we want a silencer?
Reduction of the noise, reduces the muzzle flash greatly.
Just from a pure shooting standpoint, it makes it more pleasant to shoot.
Absolutely, ear safe.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to wear hearing protection while we're out here doing this. So, all right, what do we have here?
That one is our 9mm pistol silencer. The goal was lighter, smaller, shorter, smallest, lightest on the market right now. Weighs less than an iPhone, and it's designed to be run wet, which allows us to make it shorter, helps dampen the noise.
What do you mean when you say run wet?
Run wet, about a teaspoon of water is placed inside the silencer. That's what allows us to reduce the length of it, because now it helps dampen the sound.
It's slowing down the escape of the gases.
Sure is.
Sig has chosen to call them silencers rather than suppressors because that was the original name for them when Hiram Maxim invented these things.
Absolutely.
And then you have them also, and this is really exciting, for the rifles. And why don't we just go ahead and have you shoot this thing?
Okay.
All right, Tim, you got a special subsonic load in this 308.
Yeah, I sure do.
So it is going slower than 1,100 feet per second. 175 grain bullet, so you got a pretty good sized bullet. Let her rip.
All right.
Mostly what I heard was the steel.
Yep.
Can you shoot it off the steel? Let's just see what that sounds like.
Here's one right into the berm.
Okay. Man, that is incredible. That is so quiet. All right, I got to try this thing with the pistol now.
Absolutely.
And now, I mean, that's a 308. Obviously, you couldn't get that quiet with a standard 308 load. You got to have a subsonic load. See? All right, let's just see if we can come anywhere close. Okay, I got to come off the target because the steel's making too much noise again. All right, we'll just shoot into the berm and show what a 9 sounds like. Wow, that is something else. So 9mm 45s can be suppressed really easily?
Yep, sure can. They're easy to suppress 45 because actually it's a heavier, slower moving round.
They've got a lot of use in the military tactical world, but for most of us, it's just having fun.
Having fun, absolutely.
There it is. Next up, some folks aren't fooling around when they get into gun collecting. Yep, you really can own that 50 cal.